whatever that doesn't appeal to me, I must get it done by expression of anger.
Okay.
And by and large, I succeeded. For a long period of time, I succeeded till I reached a stage in life where anger became my enemy.
We learn about life through questions.
How do we shed our desires?
Should a leader try to change such people?
Insecurities start anytime, anywhere, any age.
Their conduct has to be as per their profession.
Does it mean that the family values are somewhere on the downfall?
To answer some of these, Mr. Pratibimb Charitable, founder of Pratibimb Charitable Trust, brings to you Face to Face. This week, we are talking about anger management.
Anger doesn't solve anything. It builds nothing, but it can destroy everything. So, sir, today I would like to discuss about people who get extremely angry, what we call, an anger issue. So, the first question is, how do we decide or how do we come to know that a person really has an anger issue?
Why do we need to decide that?
In the sense, because there's so much anger, and which is like sometimes it can destroy a family, or it could, even at workplace, it can be very harmful.
Okay, if you're talking of workplace and it's your responsibility to keep the workplace harmonious, then yes, you have an issue. But in personal life, if somebody is getting angry and doesn't want to change, what can you do? There is always a way to deal with people. But if you're saying deal with somebody's anger, that probably is not in your capability. If I am angry, you can maximum advise me. I continue to be angry for whatever triggers that I have. You have no role in that.
True, but I am able to see that there is something not okay which is triggering your anger, which ultimately is going to affect me.
Let's take a case study.
Yeah, okay.
Where you are affected by somebody's anger.
Yeah.
Then we'll see how to deal with that. Because talking abstract, there
Yeah,
are no
let's
theories.
take an example of a husband and wife, for example.
Okay.
Okay. It could be a wife or it could be a husband, whatever.
Either way.
Either way. They tend to get extremely angry.
Now let's say the husband is an angry. Let's say the husband is an angry man and the wife is getting affected by the anger of the husband, and the wife wants to deal with the husband's anger.
Yes. And it's very apparent that this person has some issue, has an anger problem.
Right.
So then how do you?
So as long as you are able to convince a person, your success depends on your ability to convince. If you are not able to convince a person, you will not succeed. So let's first accept this factor, that as a wife you are trying to convince your husband that he has an anger issue and he is not convinced. You will never succeed.
Exactly.
How do I convince him is your next question. How do I convince a person who is not getting convinced? You can wake up a man who is sleeping. You can't wake up a man who is pretending to sleep.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah? So now you are dealing with an impossible situation. That
I'll just cut you in here. For example, a wife might feel, okay, like you said, it could be a nutritional issue, which very few people realize that, you can be irritable if you are vitamin deficient, or it could be iron is low.
Yeah.
You get tired easily, so the wife might try and, give him these medications and see if there is a change. But still she sees that there is no improvement, and then it's very evident that there is something inherent in that person.
Right.
Yeah.
So let me deal with this in two different perspectives. I am getting angry. I realize I have an anger issue and I want to get rid of my anger is one perspective.
Yeah.
I notice you are getting angry and I want to get rid of your anger is another perspective. If it comes to me and I have a wish, inherent wish to address my anger issue, then I can make headway. Because every human being is a master of his own life.
True.
Another person cannot be effective in either decision making or in converting another human being.
Unless that person himself feels.
Because he is the master of his life. So unless he feels that he needs a change, you have a very minimal influence on changing another person. Now if you have an anger issue and you want to address it, yes, we have a large probability that you will succeed. Anger management is as good as any negativity management. I have negativity in my mind. How do I address that? Unless one is realization, that I realize that I have this deficiency. 2, the need to address that deficiency. And 3, to work on that deficiency. All these 3 have to come from the individual concerned. That's where your battle is. Now let's say you succeeded in making your husband realize that he gets angry. You make your husband realize that there is a need to get rid of his anger. And 3, whatever methods are being suggested, recommended, he follows them regularly to see the net result. When all these 3 things fall in place, then there is a chance that he will conquer his anger.
Okay.
When I say there is a chance, there might be other factors which we have missed in these 3 points, which might be triggering the anger. What is anger? Anger is a trigger.
Yeah, so my next question to you was, what causes such extreme levels of anger? What
Triggers. What is a trigger?
So the
When I
trigger is-
pull the trigger, the bullet goes out of my barrel.
Correct. But
When the
what
bullet
kind
goes out of my barrel, I have no control on the bullet. The control is there in my finger. As long as I control my finger, I have the option of releasing the bullet or not releasing the bullet. Anger, once released, is like the bullet that goes out of the barrel of the pistol.
So their trigger is, you would say, uncontrolled? It just shoots.
So what triggers this finger?
Yeah, exactly.
What triggers this finger? This needs to be monitored. Because there are certain triggers, everybody has triggers. Dismantling triggers is the path of improvement. So first, identification of triggers before you suggest dismantling of triggers. How do you identify triggers? So note down what makes this guy angry. Now you will come up with a blanket answer, anything and everything.
Maybe.
Yeah, and no, this is quite common because people do say that this guy is unpredictable. Anything and everything makes him angry. Today there is sunrise, he is angry. Tomorrow there is cloud cover, he is angry. So I don't know what makes him angry, which is an escapist route because you don't want to know what really triggers that guy. If you are living with that guy, obviously, since he is the husband, then you know what triggers him. Now, some of the triggers are rational triggers and some of the triggers are irrational triggers. I am habitually getting angry. I have been cultivated in an environment of expressing anger and people have endorsed being angry is the good thing.
That's what I'm coming to. So is it that somewhere while the boy or girl, either way, is growing up, they have been in this atmosphere where they've seen that there is anger and, against maybe in the family or somebody being maybe violent or
Sure,
exchange of abusive words.
I can relate to that myself because I grew up in a very frustrated environment where things were not working for me. And the day I started expressing my anger, things started working for me.
Oh, so you thought that's the right
So
way.
I said that's the right way.
Correct.
And it endorsed that getting angry is the right thing. And it went on building. So anger became a part and parcel of my life's expression. Whatever that doesn't appeal to me, I must get it done by expression of anger. And by and large, I succeeded. For a long period of time, I succeeded till I reached a stage in life where anger became my enemy.
This is your personal
I'm talking my personal experience. So, up to a point, and I met a boss who said that you are a very aggressive person, but if it works for you, please continue being aggressive. So, it endorsed. It endorsed that what I am doing is the right thing. And I went on practicing it up to a point where it took me to an elevation in life. I succeeded. And I reached a point of success from where on I started failing. The same technique never worked.
What happened exactly? What changed there? I mean, when did you realize that it's not working?
It works up to a level where you are dealing with people who are themselves not confident. When you meet people who are confident of what they are talking, your anger doesn't work.
Correct.
Because they know what they are talking about, they know what they are dealing with, they know that they are on a right footing and that you are being irrationally angry and they are firm in the resolve to counter my anger with their logic, which is right. And then I found that my anger is inadequate to get the result that I want. It still doesn't answer your question, how do I correct somebody who gets angry?
And
You can't correct somebody who is getting angry because he is not wanting to get correct. Now you have got a hardened adult who has grown up through his childhood experiencing and practicing anger. How do you dissolve this hardened mind? Am I saying that there is no hope? No, I am not saying that. There is hope, but there is hope in self-realization. The whole subject of improvement is in self-realization. Nobody improves under a stick or under force. Nobody improves. It's whatever improvement they show is a temporary improvement for appearance sake. It's not a genuine internal transition of the person. By and large, if you see, the society is becoming an angrier place to live in. The intolerance levels have gone up.
Yes.
Why is this happening? It clearly shows that anger management in whatever form, whether it is therapy, whether it is education, is failing. Anger management is failing because you have allowed anger to grow. It has to be nipped in the bud. It has to be nipped in the bud at the growing up stage, what we call as upbringing. That expression of anger is not the done thing. Today children are allowed to express anger, and some are even praised for it, that this child has got the gumption to stand for his rights.
Exactly.
And he is expressing anger. Wow, my child is great.
And it's shocking to hear instances where you hear some grandchild killed his grandmom because she refused to give him something, some money or whatever. Or
Yes, yes.
I mean,
It's happened in one of our associates' case.
So it's all part of that voice.
It's part of upbringing. I mean, it's closely related to parenting. When I say parenting, I am not blaming the parents. I am blaming the society, because the society is involved in parenting. When I say parenting, it is not the mother and father alone. It's the whole group of adults who create an environment in which the child is growing up.
Yeah. So, like, what are some of the remedies you would say for anger?
Now that is the vital question. What are the remedies for anger management? So, remedy for anger management is mind management. Remedy for mind management is going back to our roots of meditation. Because meditation has a calming influence on the mind. Regular practice of meditation enables or ensures that you have a semblance of control over your mind. You cannot control somebody else's mind from the outside. He has to control his mind from the inside.
Meditation, you believe, is a
100%. Meditation should be as compulsory as brushing your teeth. Like you insist on your child brushing the teeth, you must insist on the child meditating. We have cases of students who have confessed anger reduction by practicing the practices we teach. I mean, I am one of the person who confessed that I was a violently angry person, but the practices have worked. My family can vouch for it. My friends can vouch for it, that the way I used to react earlier is quite different from the way I react now to the same situation. Situations have worsened in the society, but my anger has reduced. Things that used to trigger my anger in the society earlier, a magnified version of that trigger does not trigger my anger
any longer.
So, meditation works. I can vouch with personal experience, but then each one has to acquire the experience. Me telling doesn't make sense.
Doesn't help. Speak when you're angry, and you will make the best speech you will regret all your life. So is that worth it? Not at all. Breathe, control, meditate, and get relieved from this anger issue.
If you have some questions about life, please connect with us. Do not forget to like, share, subscribe, and press the bell icon for weekly updates.